the perception of body. It is called Sharir Preksha. We have already seen that when we say perception, what we mean is to perceive deeply the existence of our own self. You know, the motto of our Preksha meditation is Sampikhaye apaga mappayenam. It means that you have to see yourself with yourself, through yourself. It means that when you want to perceive your own self, there must be some medium through which you can see yourself. As it is very simple to understand, the self itself, that is the soul itself, is not perceptible to our sense organs. Or even we can't perceive the self or the soul directly through our mind. Then what to do? Then what we do is that we take the help of some media through which we can experience our own self. As in the case of perception of breathing, we had taken the support of breathing process. Why? Because we know that in each of our breathing, when we breathe in or when we breathe out, the self, the soul or the consciousness is always interrelated with the process. So when we perceive the breath, we are actually not perceiving the breath only, but also our own self, which is intimately associated with the process of breathing. In the same way, when we say perception of body, what we mean is that our own self, our own soul, our own conscious element, consciousness, Chaitanya, is connected, is interrelated with the body, with each and every process of body, whether it is a gross process, whether it is a subtle process, it does not matter. With all processes, our soul or the self is always associated there. And when we say we have to perceive the body, what we actually mean is we have to perceive our own self intimately interconnected or interrelated with that process of the body. So this is the literal meaning of perception of breathing. Now, how to do this process? The technique is also very simple. You know, you can concentrate your consciousness, your conscious attention on any part of the body. Actually, that already we have done in the process of Kayotsarga. What we did there is that we concentrate the mind on each part of the body and then use autosuggestion to relax the body. Here in Sharir Preksha, that is perception of body, we have to also concentrate in the same way on each part of the body one by one. Concentration, and then what we have to do is pure perception. To perceive that part. Through that part, perceive whatever feeling is there, sensation is there, vibration is there, any activity which is associated with that process, with that part of the body, we just perceive again without like and dislike. You know, because in preksha, in perception, in pure perception, we have always to remain away from like and dislike, from attachment and aversion. These are all reactions of our mind. We have not to go into reaction, but we should try to remain in absolute equanimity without any reaction. So, as we do in Kayosarg, so also in perception of body, we concentrate the mind on each part of the body, one by one, and try to perceive the feelings, the vibrations, the sensations, without any reaction. This is the way how we practice perception of body in the Preksha meditation system. Now let us try to understand the philosophical basis of our exercise of perception of body. As we have already discussed during the discussion on Antaryatra, internal trip through the spinal cord and the brain, that there is the flow of our vital energy. We can call it vital force. There is a kind of flow in our body which we call as pranadhara. This pranadhara, this is a very, very subtle phenomena associated with all living organisms. Man is also a living organism. We are also a living organism. So in our body, there is associated a very, very important process of our life which is called as prana, the vital force. When we concentrate our mind on any part of the body, what actually we have to perceive is not only the body, but also we should try to penetrate inside. What we mean by penetrate is to go deeper in concentration on that part of the body and try to feel, try to experience, try to see, try to perceive, try to know whatever is going on there. And there, when our concentration improves, it becomes sharp, then we can actually feel that there is some kind of subtle vibration taking place in that part of body, and in this way we can actually realize the subtle vibrations of our vital flow, that is prana. Prana is very important because it is the prana which is actually the organizer of our body processes. The body itself is an inanimate thing, is an inert thing, it is a non-living element, but it is the prana, it is the vital flow, the vital energy which gives the capacity of working to each part of the body. And therefore, the role of vital energy or prana is very important from the point of view of philosophical discussion. We have to understand that in our body, this prana is distributed all over the body, and there are certain flows of prana as it is believed in the philosophy of yoga or philosophy of spiritual practices. It is believed that there are 5 different flows, 5 different categories of prana. Pran itself is the one, only one thing, single entity, but it is distributed in 5 different regions, and according to that they are classified in 5 types. One flow, it is around our heart, the whole part of the heart, and around it, it is covered by one type. Another is around the nose. The third flow is around the navel. The fourth flow is around the rectum, and the fifth flow is around the skin. From the heart up to the head, that is one part. Then the facial portion, that is nose, is another part. The portion from the heart up to the navel is the third part. From navel up to the rectum is the fourth part. And the remaining portion of the skin all over the body is the fifth part. In this way, the 5 flows of vital energy always is in action throughout the body. So, philosophically speaking, when we are practicing the practice or the exercise of perception of body, what actually we are doing is try to perceive the vital flow of energy inside that part of body when we concentrate our conscious element, conscious mind on that particular part. Now, when we do this, actually it results in beneficial outcome that the vital flow, where it is flowing, it becomes even. If there is any imbalance in the vital flow, that is harmful to us from various points of view. Therefore, it is necessary that everywhere throughout the body, our vital flow should be kept even. It should not become unbalanced. There should not be disturbance in the distribution of the vital flow energy throughout the body. So this is what is called the evenness of the flow of vital energy. And when we do this perception, automatically the evenness of the vital energy flow is achieved by practice of Preksha meditation, especially this practice, this exercise of Sharir Preksha, that is perception of body. Now, let us try to understand the basis of science. How scientifically we have to understand the processes of body and how we are benefited when we practice Preksha meditation, that is perception of body, in terms of scientific benefit. I think all of you must know that our body is a system, an organization of several other systems and organs which are all composed of cells. The whole body consists of cells. Cell is a unit of body, and that cell is functioning in every part of our body. So through the functions of each cell, the whole body operates, and this organization of all activities of cells, that is actually the how the body works and how we live in this life. Each cell has its own construction. There are parts also in the cell. Cell is a very, very, very minute entity, but still it has parts inside it, and all works, all functions of the cell, they take place there, and through that cellular activity, that is the biological activity of the cell, we live our life. And the cells of the same organ, the cells which do the same function, they are organized in tissue. The tissues are later on organized in the organ, and several organs, they together make a system of the body. For example, there is nervous system of the body which is responsible for all our activities of nerves. There is circulatory system in which the blood is regulated throughout the body. The flow of the blood is regulated throughout the body, and heart and other parts of the body, they form the main organs of our blood circulatory system. In the same way, we have already discussed about the respiratory system. The digestive system is another system where digestion takes place, and excretory system where our excreta is thrown out of the body. The urinary system is also very important because through kidneys it operates, and it manufactures the urine, and in this way it makes the blood clean, and it purges out all the impurities in the blood. The endocrine system is also very important, which is responsible for many of the very, very important functions of the body as well as functions of the mind and emotion. There is another system which is called as immunity system. The system which is responsible for fighting against the diseases. It is an autonomous system which is there in our body. It works automatically, and because of immunity, we can remain free from the attack of any external virus, bacteria, germs, etc. And in this way, the immunity system keeps ourselves healthy. So in this way, all these systems which are explained in science of anatomy and physiology, how these bodies, how these organs are situated in various parts of the body, how they function, and in what way the function of all these parts, all these cells, all the system, that together makes the life possible. Now we have to understand that when we practice preksha of our body, that is, when we perceive the body actually, we concentrate our mind on each part. There we try to feel the prana, very, very subtle vibrations of the prana. But together with that, we also perceive all the activities taking place in the cells, in the tissues, in the organs, and the systems of our body. When we practice concentration, what we do? We concentrate the mind on a particular part. Try to perceive, experience whatever is felt there. So when we concentrate, automatically whatever is going on in our body, we feel it, we experience it. Although it is very difficult for us to actually decipher it, actually know or recognize that now what particular kind of vibration, sensation, function is going on, and how do we feel it. But in spite of that, we always have a kind of feeling on every part of the body. So, when we practice preksha meditation, when we practice perception of body, we actually come in contact with these subtle functions, subtle vibrations, subtle activities taking place throughout the body, even in a cell, which is very, very minute entity, and the processes which take place in the shell are also very, very minute, very difficult to perceive. But still, when we concentrate the mind there, we come into contact with those particular functions taking place in the body, and in this way we establish a sort of communication with our own body and with our own self. Self is associated there always, as we have already discussed. Without the intervention of the self, without the intervention of the consciousness, the body cannot work. So wherever there is the function of body, the self is associated. Our main idea is to perceive the self. When we perceive the self, automatically we also perceive the activities of the body. In this way, we come into contact with our own bodily functions which take place in various parts of the body, and in this way we can come in communication with all activities taking place in our body. Now, after understanding the philosophical and the scientific basis of perception of body, we come to the question, what is the raison d'etre of this exercise of perception of body? Many people who talk about spiritualism or who talk about the activities of spiritual practices, they have got a misconception about body. They think that body is something very dirty substance, dirty thing, and it is an antithesis of soul. There is a kind of misconception in the world of spiritual practitioners that body is our enemy. Soul versus body. There is the main idea of many spiritual practitioners. But this is not right. Actually, body is not to be considered as an enemy of the soul. What is required is to keep the self away from the attachment of the body. When the soul becomes attached to the body, attached to the functions of the body, to the activities of the body, and there is the creation of like and dislike during that process, then it becomes harmful for the self in the terms of the bondage of karma. Whenever the soul indulges in attachment to the activities of the body through like and dislike, it becomes bound with the karma. So this is not desirable according to the spiritual philosophy. But we can utilize the body for the concentration of our consciousness, as well as we can utilize those functions of the body which are taking place there for benefiting ourself in our spiritual progress or spiritual development. That is why the body can be utilized as an instrument in perceiving, and through that it can be utilized also in getting the spiritual benefits. So we have to understand first that this misconception is to be removed, that when we perceive the body, actually we are not perceiving the body, we are perceiving the self through the body. And secondly, when we perceive the body, when we perceive the self through the body, we are benefited spiritually in the terms that whatever contamination is there of the self, that is also removed by such kind of perception. One thing should be made very clear, as we discussed in our first lecture, that the nature of the self is to only know, to perceive, not to indulge in any kind of reaction. Whenever there is reaction, it is either the reaction of like or the dislike. We have to remain free. We have to keep our mind free, keep ourselves free from such reactions of likes and dislikes. But if we indulge, if we allow ourselves to indulge only in perception, in pure perception, without going into like and dislike, without indulging in attachment or aversion, then what we do is we come back to our own nature. We retrogress back to our own nature. That nature is to keep equanimity, to perceive, to know, but to remain in equanimity. This is actually what is to be done by preksha. So when we do perception of body, actually what we are doing? Actually we are perceiving our own self through the activities of the body, and we are trying to keep ourselves free from likes and dislikes. When you do the perception of the body, for example, say you concentrate your mind on the knee, you try to feel the vibrations, sensations that are taking place there, and suddenly you feel that you have pain inside that part of the body. When you feel the pain, what is required to be done is not to indulge in the reaction of dislike or aversion towards that pain. You should try to keep yourself free from this indulging in dislike. Keep it completely equanimous. Only perceive, only see, only experience. That is the nature. That is the nature of the self itself. There is nothing extra, nothing foreign to it. But if you go into indulging of dislike or like or attachment or aversion, those reactions are not the nature of the self, and they become the causes of bondage of karma with the soul. So in order to prevent the bondage of karma with the soul through the activities of like and dislike, what we have to do is to practice equanimity, that is to remain in pure perception, which is the nature of the soul, not to indulge in like and dislike, keep completely equanimous, and that is exactly what we do through preksha. So when we do sharir preksha, perception of the body, it should be a pure perception of the body. There should not be like and dislike. There should not be any reaction. And if you do that, on one hand, you are actually making yourself free from the bondage of the karma which would have taken place otherwise through like and dislike, if you would not have kept your mind equanimous, remaining completely concentrated in pure perception. So I think it is very clear that when we practice sharir preksha, actually we do preksha of our own self, of our own soul, and at the same time we try to remain in our equanimous nature, that is pure perception, which is the nature of the self, and through that we save ourself, we save our soul from the very dangerous bondages of karma. Now you can understand very well the importance of the perception of the body. Another very important reason is that we want to bring about change in ourselves. And this subtle body, which is also manifest in the body, in this gross body, through these subtle activities, subtle functions that take place, we also have to communicate with that part of our existence. It is not only the gross body that we perceive through the perception of the body, but also we try to penetrate inside, to go deeper and try to attain communication with the subtle body. One subtle body, it is called as the Tejas Sarir, that is the body connected with all our bioelectrical activities, and another body which is even subtler, even more minute than the Tejas body, that is called as Karman body. That is actually the main object of our meditation. This gross body is not the main object. It is only the media. Through this, we try to reach deeper and try to have contact with the Tejasari, the body of responsible for bioelectrical activities, and through that, the karmic body, which is actually our enemy. Enemy in the sense that it is the effect of the karmic body which prevents the spiritual progress, the spiritual development, and it is responsible for contamination of the soul with new bondage of karma. So you should try to understand that when we do perception of the body, our purpose is not only to perceive the gross body, but to perceive the subtle body and the subtlemost body. Although it is very difficult to get into touch with the subtlemost body, because the vibrations of the subtlemost body are so minute that it requires very, very deep concentration. But once you start your practice and you increase your power of perception, you increase your penetrating power, you increase your concentration power, you find that actually you can have a direct contact with these subtlemost phenomena, and then the main object is to bring about the change in the condition of karmic body. If you cannot bring about any change in the natural activities of the karmic body, then it is no use doing all these efforts. Our effort is mainly in bringing about the change in already recorded karmic body records. It is already previously recorded there. What we want to bring about is the change in those records, those which are inauspicious types of karma, like it is called the delusion karma or the other karma. We want to bring about the change in whatever is coded there to obliterate its effect, to make the soul free from the effects of deluding karma and other karmas, and that we can do through the perception of the body. Now you can understand the significance, the very, very great importance of our meditational practice, that is this practice of perception of body. When we do this, actually what is the benefit we accrue from that is that gradually our soul becomes decontaminated. The contamination, the impurity, it is removed gradually, and the self or the chitta, that is our psyche, becomes purer and purer, becomes free from the effect of the karma. So this is a very, very important basis of our Preksha meditation that you should try to understand. We have discussed only in brief about the reason why we should do it, and now we come in the last point about the benefits, what kinds of benefits we get through this perception of body. The first benefit, as I have already told you now, is our spiritual benefit. When the karma and the effect of karma are obliterated through this perception, our soul becomes free to remain in its own nature, to do that act which is not opposite to its nature, and in this way it has double benefit. It stops the new bondage of karma, it inhibits the new bondage of karma, and secondly, whatever bondages are there already bound in the form of karma with the soul, there can be a change, a transformation brought about by our effort in those codes, and we can take that benefit. For example, if there is an inauspicious type of karma like delusion karma, we can decrease the duration of the karma. We can make the karma milder, and in this way decrease the intensity, and so on. So this is the spiritual benefit which we get. Side by side, we also get the benefit in terms of our physical, mental and emotional health. You know, body is a medium which is very useful in our spiritual practice. It is not only an instrument of leading a life, it is there, but it also helps us in doing our spiritual activities. Meditation is spiritual activity. Without the help of the body, which is a healthy body, you cannot do it. So for maintaining the health, to remove the diseases from the body, this perception of body is very useful. It's very easy to understand how it works. When you concentrate on the body, various parts of the body, various organs of the body, which of course include your vital organs like heart, kidneys, liver, brain, lungs, all these organs are vital organs. They are responsible for very, very important processes of life. Now if there is any disorder there, disease there, when you practice this perception of body, your mind is concentrated there, and your pranadhara, it is also affected, it becomes evenly distributed there. If there is any obstruction in the flow of the vital energy, that obstruction is removed automatically by your concentration. When you concentrate, the flow of the vital energy becomes balanced, becomes even, and because of the evenly flowing vital energy, you are benefited. That acts as the main energy force which removes the disorder, and in this way you can make your body free from the disorders. It will help you in improving the circulation of the blood through that part of the body. When there is concentration of the mind, concentration of yourself, then automatically prana is also there, available in enough quantity, and that can be utilized to improve the blood circulation. The circulation of the blood is improved, and you get whatever things, whatever necessary factors you want substances you want to get there, you can get there, and through that the disease is also removed. In Preksha meditation camps specially organized for the patients of the cardiac diseases, we have found that more than 15,000 such patients were cured of the heart disease, which was found by the doctors after their examination, after their testings, that such and such patient is there, he is suffering from the cardiac disease, and then when he did this Preksha meditation, he got the benefit. So in this way, it is very easy to understand how the body can become free from the diseases and disorders and can keep intact the health of the body, the mind and the emotion. That is the physical health, the mental health and the emotional health. On all the three counts, we get this benefit automatically because of the concentration of our consciousness on various parts of the body. And in this way, especially the immunity, the system of immunity is very important. If you want to lead a healthy life, it is very necessary that you should keep intact your immune system. All the diseases which are caused by the attack of the germs, of the bacteria, the virus, all foreign particles, toxics that get collected in the body, and when the immune system fails to protect the body from the attack of these external invaders, then the disease is there. That the result is the body becomes diseased. There is a creation of some disease in some part of the body, and accordingly the body becomes ill and sick. So when we practice Sarira Preksha, perception of body, automatically we increase our immune power and we become healthy. So prevention and cure both can be effected through perception of body. So in this way, various benefits accrue when we practice perception of body. And I think we should always remember our main purpose is the self-purification, to decrease the contamination of the karma, and secondly, we are also benefited from the point of view of our physical, mental and emotional health. That is all.